Oh, yeah, lots of opinions out there today. Got a feeling that would be the case in this kind of a setup. All right. Hello. Wave meteorologist Brian Good. Happy Monday, everyone. Hope you had a good weekend. It wasn't too bad of a weekend. I know we didn't get the wet snow flakes that we were hoping some of us will at least see. I ended up more of the glaze, actually, than on my deck early on Saturday morning with my temperature in my house getting right at 32 and then a little bit of, again, very light icy glaze form. So I didn't see any snowflakes, but yeah, it was just a very brief wintry setup, and then it was gone, distant memory. But that was also to be expected when you get a very marginal kind of setup like that. It's hard to get too excited about it. All right, so what's ahead of us? Well, we have two decently sized storm systems coming through the Ohio Valley. Very low pressures with them as they move on by. So that's certainly going to kick up the wind. So wind is going to be, out of all the elements I'm about to explain, wind is likely going to be the most prominent feature. The second feature, I'm putting these in order of, again, prominence, we'll see, will be rain. Rain, heavy at times, will take place. Third feature will indeed be some snowfall. The fourth item on the list that we'll need to watch out for is going to be very cold wind chills, and that'll be toward the end of the period. I'll explain coming up. It's more of a step-down process that each one of these lows is going to allow us to transition more from a windy rain to snow scenario, much more into a full-on just plain snow kind of idea as time evolves. How long will that last? That's a good question. I'll try to answer that coming up in just a few minutes. As always, you guys can comment on Facebook, Twitter, X, as well as on YouTube as well. I'm able to see all your comments. And you guys are very chatty today, so I apologize. There's a bit of a delay, so everything's kind of flying on by here. So I'm trying to look for any questions you got or anything like that I need to try to answer. If I miss it, I apologize. But there's a lot to cover, and I got a very short amount of time, so I'll try to get to what I can. So let's start with the actual snowboard, which it's still rather lit up, if you will. We've got the rain to snow scenario. Again, this is just focusing on snow chances. All right. This is not the entire storm systems we're looking at yet. So just rain to snow chance. That'll be Tuesday night into Wednesday. Then we do it again. There is a mini system or a minor little short wave that moves through Thursday. I don't see it right now being more than just flurry, so I didn't want to put it on here. So we'll jump ahead to Friday night into Saturday for rain to snow setup. And then the one for the holiday for Monday, a week from today, is the one I do think will end up being all snow. Arctic air should have a firm grip on us at that point. So I did move the needle up on that one to a 2 on the scale. That's the first time I've done that season, to move it to a 2. I know it's not a 8 or a 10, but hey, at least it's moving. So again, that's the reason why the latter systems will have a little more of a look to them of winter than the first stuff you will have as they move on by. So let's start with the current setup outside. We've got the high clouds moving in. Today's the day if you need to get out and run some errands, things you need to take care of in the yard, and you just don't want to deal with a rainy, windy type of day that we have coming up tomorrow. Today is the day to take care of that. And today may certainly be the pick of the week, the way it's looking actually. Now, it will be warmer tomorrow for a few hours than what it will be today, but it comes with a very dynamic day of ups and downs coming our way. So today is the calmer setup. So try to take care of things today if you are able to do so. Current temperature outside, admirable freezing still in spots. It was cold this morning, but we had a very narrow window with this next system that there was a bit of a concern whether or not the cold air that's settled in today, if it will be lingering tonight to where when the system does arrive, say around midnight, 2 a.m. tonight, early tomorrow, that there would be perhaps something on the wintry side on the leading edge. Don't see that being the case. At the moment, the amount of warm air that's coming in from the Gulf is very overwhelming. So I think that idea to erase that off the picture has happened since I last had a chance to talk to you guys on Friday. All right. So anyway, quiet today. Again, no problems. Let's get to the storm system. This storm system is going to affect at least 27, 28 states of the lower 48 over the next few days. This is a large system with large reach, of course, and impacting a lot of road travel and air travel and your packages. FedEx and UPS, if they haven't sent alerts out to you guys yet to warn you that your package may be late, they will, because this is the kind of setup that will cause delays. So just be aware of that. And we get another one very similar to this toward the weekend. So it's going to be tough to kind of get caught up here. At least we don't have the holidays to be in the middle of all this. That's, I guess, a plus, but still some delays. Okay, so you can see the snow breaking out into Kansas. You got the rain all the way down into areas of Texas that is breaking out. Look at the alerts. First off, on the severe side, a significant severe weather event is likely to unfold along the I-10 corridor this afternoon. Strong tornadoes, damaging winds. It is going to be a very active setup for Texas and Houston all the way to near Destin, Florida for today. Tomorrow, all that shifts to the east. Large area of an enhanced risk for the Carolinas, Myrtle Beach, Charleston, Wilmington, North Carolina, all the way down to Jacksonville, Florida, and even Valdosta, Georgia, will be dealing with severe weather once again. This thing has got a very strong wind field to it, which is where we come into play when it comes to the strong winds. Speaking of that, cold weather on the northern side of this, all the snow, as far as the snow that you guys are, snow lovers are wanting to have happen, that's not with this path for us. This is a typical and classic Plains Midwest snowstorm. And then, as you see there in the red, blizzard that will unfold. Hey, they have been in a snow drought too in this area. They haven't seen much at all. So they are probably more excited than the snow lovers here because they're so accustomed to getting these kind of systems. And it's been so quiet for over a year. So this is getting them back on the maps again. So they're excited, I'm sure, the Midwest. I'm sure the kids will love having some snow days in that area. But look at the wind alerts. This is a massive area of wind that we're talking about. And Kentucky is in that zone where you see the little bit of the mustard color. That is a high wind watch or warning, actually a warning that is out. We are not to that level, at least not yet. Some of the data earlier in the time period was getting close to that. To get to that criteria, we would have to have frequent gusts at 60 or at least sustained at about 40 to 45. I don't see us getting to that. I think it's the gust issue we've got to watch. All right, now the current wind advisory we've got out is going to be for Adair, Greene, Taylor, Marion, and Franklin counties. Now, this kicks in for early tomorrow morning, all the way through the midday hours, and then fading out. Here's the issue, though. It is likely that there's going to be, in fact, we have already heard from the National Weather Service that there will be a second wind advisory that's going to have to get issued here. So this one will expire at lunch tomorrow. They'll issue a new one, and I think the new one will encompass much more of wave country, including Louisville, for the afternoon round. I'll explain why that's the case coming up. If tomorrow's trash day, like I have in my neighborhood, oh boy, that's gonna be fun. Hopefully come early and they take care of everything. Don't just stack things to where things are just blow it on the street. So I'm trying to say, anchor things down good. Help the guys out and women. They're going to be out trying to take care of us tomorrow, because that's going to be a tough job for the routes with heavy rain and strong winds going through neighborhoods. So just try to keep that in mind, make things a little easier on everybody. And watch the kids heading out to the bus stops in the morning and coming home tomorrow, as the wind will be strong at times. You will notice the wind ramping up tonight as you're asleep. If you have wind chimes outside, you'll start to hear it ramp up. It's not going to be overly strong, especially for around Louisville. Initially, I think Southern Kentucky, yes, but a lot of us will not see it get strong right away. I think our concern for much of the Louisville Metro especially is going to be in the afternoon, Tuesday into Tuesday evening. So let me explain. Here is one of our high-res models. Does a decent job. You can see how we've got dry weather all the way through about the 11 o'clock midnight hour tonight. So if you have dinner plans tonight, you should be good. You get to the 11 o'clock news, the radar will then show the wall of rain moving in. And chilly rain, again, that's the reason why there was some concern initially the cold air may linger no longer than it should in this scenario. I think it will get pushed out just in enough time to where it's going to be rain. The rain will be steady throughout the early morning hours. Remember me mentioning that, because that will play a role in what I'm about to explain in a second. After that round of rain comes on by, there is a period toward the lunch hour and early afternoon that we get into what we call a dry slot, right into this window, roughly lunch to about, I would say, 5 p.m. I don't know if the sun's going to come out or not. It could come out, but we don't want it to in this scenario. And I'm not talking about severe thunderstorms here. I'm just saying that if we get any type of what we call mixing of the air, we're going to allow the strong winds that are racing above our heads tomorrow to be able to make it down to the ground surface. And that's really going to make travel a bit difficult, holding on tight to that steering wheel traveling around town. It's all about this portion of the day, though. Will we get that dry slot to indeed happen? Once that wind maxes out in the afternoon, the dry slot, the wind shifts quickly, and then we go from rain into the evening over into snow. It'll mix with before midnight. I think we will start to get snow reports tomorrow night, and it should be all snow as we head into early on your Wednesday. Notice temperatures overall above freezing, by the way, with that snow. More on the snow part in a second as it moves on by. Here's the wind belt tomorrow morning. This is what's really wild. This is about, I would say, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning. Here is Louisville right here. So you're looking at a wind belt above our heads that is roughly about hurricane force, if not stronger, flying right over us. And this was a concern that we had on Friday as, my goodness, you know, if some of that wind can make it down to the ground level, we are talking about some of the wind events that we have back early into the spring season. But here's the difference. Remember, those events were afternoon events in both cases. This is a overnight, early pre-dawn time period we're talking about. This is the low-level jet that is moving over us. So there is one thing that can help, especially with light rain. This is the sounding out of Louisville. Notice we do have where this little notch is showing up around 850 millibars, just a few miles up, where there is just enough of a protection to ease off that wind to keep it to getting all the way down below the tree line. Now, I don't know that this is just a model that's showing us. We have to wait and see the reality of it once we get into later on tonight. But this would help ease back some of those stronger speeds and keep them above the tree line. You may hear a whirring type of sound throughout the day, especially early in the day, where you may be able to hear the wind flying overhead. But as far as getting everything moving and shaking in big time way on the ground level, we may not see that type of extreme, but just because it's being early in the day, got the inversion in place. We got rain that has fallen as well. That is a lighter rain, not a heavy rain scenario, but enough to cause at least help us out on that idea on the rain. So on the wind. So that's the saving grace. We lose this feature in the afternoon tomorrow, but that strong pocket of that mustard colored wind I showed you over central Kentucky, that also does leave us. So it's a trade-off. We have a better opportunity to get the wind below the tree line tomorrow afternoon, but we don't have as much of it to pull down. So it kind of evens back out. Otherwise, I do think we would find ourselves in a high wind warning scenario. So it's kind of good and bad on how they're not really lined up and stacked just right for a bigger event. That's fine with us. Wind around here, my fence especially, is not excited about hearing about wind. So this is actually a good thing, but I think it will lead to a windy setup for some areas in the morning, windy for just about everyone tomorrow afternoon. It moves on by. You can see the wind gust ramp back up there. So potential early in the day. I don't know if we'll get to that 40 when that strong wind belt's over us. The model is trying to account for some enhanced wind. It's possible. You see how it drops off when the rain becomes steady. We get the inversion, so the wind eases. And then as soon as we get closer to the dry side, you don't see it just beyond the 12 p.m. window here. But I think the gust, again, will get 40, maybe even up to about 50 miles per hour is what we could get up to as we head into the afternoon hours for tomorrow afternoon. All right, so windy early, a bit of a break midday, strong winds again in the afternoon. Hope that all made sense. That's just the wind part of it all. And it's worth mentioning, the wind is going to continue on Wednesday, cold wind with the light snow. And there is a possibility we could have a third wind advisory for Wednesday with gust again, a little lower than this 50, probably about 40 miles per hour, but still very windy setup for about a good day and a half. Yay. Okay, so we don't get strong winds like this very often into January. Usually we're a little further into March before we get back into that territory. So it is a little unusual to see this for our early January standards there. Okay, so let's see. Whoop, hold on one second. There we go. All right, here is the rainfall outlook. This is the messy part. Rain, right? I know what you're going to say. Man, if only all that was snow. Well, first off, you wouldn't get this much snow because warm air contains more moisture. So that's kind of not really a true argument to be had. Anyway, I'm diverging. This is a soaking rain, guys. It's not going to all come at once. It'll come in periods and waves moving through, but it will make the roads travel, especially as we head into your morning commute. It's probably going to be messy for the kids then. It's going to be messy probably for the kids in the afternoon. Another round that tries to move in on the other side of the dry slot. So we need the rain. We are in a drought status. This rain is happening on the day the ground gets sampled. I don't know what time of day they sample the ground, but it will be happening. So we should see the drought map look different on Thursday when it gets reissued. So this is not all bad. It's just going to make the roads quite messy. Snowfall. This is a light snowfall. Temperatures really get only to about freezing, but the ground's going to be wet. You will still have some wind around, quite a bit of wind actually. And the ground temps have been running warm. So all those ingredients, from my experience here, it tends to really not cause a big concern. Other than visibility, I have seen these become a little squally at times, and you get low visibility in pockets, or you'll get some of the snow on grass areas that'll accumulate in corners of yards or up against areas where the wind's blowing up against the side of a house or a shed or a deck, or whatever the case may be. So I do think the ground's going to get coated. And not in all areas, but the potential is there to get coated anywhere that is watching in our 30 counties. That is possible. This is going to be a fairly widespread snow showery type of setup. Festive flakes, if you will. We won't have as much moisture in the air, though, by this point in the storm. All that is going to be taken away from the severe weather down south and the blizzard to the northwest. There's not much left here to work with other than the wind and the cold and then the lighter snow. So don't get too excited about that potential, but still very dynamic here because I just only covered late tonight through Wednesday morning, and I've already been on here for about 20 minutes. So very active setup for this first storm. We do have an alert day out for this, mainly for the wind for impacts. We'll be monitoring that and see if there's any more adjustments that need to come our way. We get a small break. There is a minor clipper there that moves in as we head into Thursday. Zips on by. Then we get into Friday and the weekend for the next round. Now, a lot of you have seen where, okay, well, the system keeps trending back north. It's going to be rain. because it was trying to trend back south. Here's the thing with this Friday night into Saturday storm system. One thing that the models are not exactly always going to capture is there's going to be a growing snowpack from the current system and the one moving through Tuesday and Wednesday. This should force the storm track a little more south than what the one that is taking aim on us in the next 24 hours. It'll be more south than that. The problem is I don't think that the snowpack is far enough south here for this week to push the Friday, Saturday system south of Louisville, which would mean a much more of a winter storm scenario for our counties. I do think it will be to the point where majority of this will be rain, but it'll be awful close. And it will be much closer with the snow line than what the one will be Tuesday, Wednesday. So I still think we need to watch it. Need to monitor it, especially on the backlash portion of this. But this does have another round of heavy rain and a lot of wind. This may be flagged again as another alert day. That's so much to look at today. But that looks to be the trend. And so very windy again, especially on the colder side of this. Much of the snowier side of the wind will be Saturday, by the way. Friday looks to be more on the rainy side, if I had to split the 2 days up. It moves on by fairly quick. Look how widespread. See, we're getting much more on the snow showing up versus the rain. You're starting to see a trade-off because now we're getting the Arctic air that is settling in into Ohio Valley. And boy, now this is good. When you see a boundary of a rain snow line that is east-west, that's when you need to really pay attention to our weather in Ohio Valley. When it's a little more angled like this, and then you got the line going up again through the Ohio Valley, it's probably going to be rain, maybe even severe weather in some cases. If it's angled more like this, then it's probably going to be a clipper that'll move through. But when you get a rain snow line that is more east-west in nature across areas of I-40 to about I-20, that always catches my eye. That's when things get more interesting on wintry weather, because now we've got Arctic air that is just spilling in, just pouring right into the plains. Then the storm track becomes active. So then our next system, and this is for the MLK Day coming up on Monday. It will be a holiday, but boy, we always have some of our bigger events for that holiday weekend around here. And I don't know how big this one will be. It doesn't look terribly large right now, but it does look like it will likely be all snow. And that would be Monday. So kids, I know you're thinking, oh, we can get a snow day. Nope, you'll be out of school. Maybe Tuesday if it's still an issue. Maybe Tuesday you'll get a snow day. But on the Monday, that's when it looks like it'll move through. And this is going to be a cold system, guys. Even Saturday, when we get the Friday, Saturday rain scenario, I think wind chills may get to about 0 to 3 or so above the wind chill. Once this passes by, wind chills below 0 will start to go up as far as the factor. So very cold air as we hit toward the end of the weekend and certainly for next week. Will this be the core of winter? We'll see. It's been tough to get winter even started, right? And just as we get used to it, it may start to ease back, because I do think we'll get another clipper maybe in the middle of next week. This looks light. Pretty typical to see that. Larger system, you get a little caboose that comes on by. The pattern will try to ease back toward the last few days or so of January, not December, but January, as I'll show you in a second. I know this is hard to see, so let me bring this full screen. This is the model positioning from the Euro on its ensembles of where it thinks that Friday into Saturday, where the low could be. And again, you see the majority of them, Louisville's about right here. So a majority of them are going to be to the north and west of us. I don't see just a strong enough signal yet to get the low to swing south of us to give us full-on winter storm here Friday and Saturday. I like the idea of this being rain to snow. I just don't think it's going to be way up here to the north, as some of the models have been showing. I think it's not capturing what's going to happen the next couple of days. And once that snowfall happens in the Midwest between now and Wednesday, I think you'll see the track shift a little more south to give us some heavy rain and wind and a quicker change rain over to snow. After this, we do get, of course, it's a piece of the polar vortex. That's why we're talking about the Monday system being all snow. Drops in right over us. I do see signs it will relax for the end of January, but it may reload and come right back for another attack as we head toward the first week of February. So yes, winter may not entirely be done, but at least this point, this system, this blast of cold air doesn't have a lot of staying power. It's a temporary visit. just in time for the end of the weekend and early next week. I'm talking a couple of days, if not longer. You know what? It could even be a week, a solid week where we stay below freezing. So get ready. Some big changes, something we have not been totally accustomed to. I think we will have more alert dates that'll be coming out. So I want you guys to pay careful attention to the forecast the next few days, as there's going to be more changes to be had on this. All right. Angela, appreciate you and your comments. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Everyone's excited. Happy anniversary date, early anniversary. Julie, what happened to the El Nino dry, warm winter forecast? I don't know. I think some of that was at play, but I think El Nino is, again, not as huge a factor as people were thinking it could be in this scenario. All right. You're welcome, everyone. Enjoy your Monday. Hang on tight. Get ready for some wild-looking hairdos tomorrow.